Shalom. All right, Shalom, Shalom. We're the Hebrew Israelites. We come out here week in and week out to prophesy the downfall of America and to let the so-called Negroes, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Americans know that you are the true children of Israel according to the Holy Bible, and that you are the only nation of people upon planet Earth, wherever you may be scattered to, that have a chance of salvation, which is going to be granted by the Heavenly Father Yahweh, whom this world ignorantly calls God, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, whom this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Right? And Esau Edom, his kingdom Babylon, which Babylon goes back to the Hebrew word confusion. You see that here in America, and this is how you can connect this spiritually through the scriptures. So this kingdom is going to be destroyed. So before we officially get started, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachakodash. Double honor to the elders, apostles, and bishops at Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, love, and safety is to the hopeful elect doctrine out there doing this work. And much love to the scattered elect and to the few sincere women that subscribe to the true doctrine. So what we're gonna start off with in the book of Joel, I believe, where it speaks of blow the trumpet. All right, and when it comes to blowing that trumpet, you know, it's really talking about blowing that trumpet of prophecy. Okay, which we are set out to do. You know, I was listening to the live stream that the elders and apostles here at Great Millstone did, the live speaking, and they went into the Chat GPT and was going through different Hebrew groups, because Chat GPT, they had their own analysis on these different Israelite groups. You know, and they started with I can't remember who they started with, but the apostles, they went through IUIC, they went through ISUPK, and they also went through Great Millstone. And what differentiated Great Millstone from the other camps is their stern stance on prophecy, their importance on prophecy. Okay, these other camps too, they know Bishop Nathaniel, and they do teach prophetic things as well, but mainly it's Great Millstone that's pushing prophecy. Matter of fact, there's a precept I want to get where no vision is. I believe it's in the book of Proverbs, right? Because when we go into the visions speak about prophecy. All right, Habakkuk the 2nd chapter proves that. All right, but we can get that precept I call for Proverbs.
Proverbs chapter 29, verse 18. Where there is no vision, the people perish.
Right. It says where there is no vision, the people perish. All right. And that vision correlates with prophecy. So that means what? There has to be someone that's speaking about the future events to come. It has to be putting it out there. All right. Now, I won't say it's strictly Great Millstone, even though I gave those statistics based off of what I witnessed from the apostles. But you know, you have certain other even some of these whistleblowers. They'll push out prophecy. You know, they'll be exposing certain things behind the scenes, which correlates with prophecy. All right. So this where no vision is, you know, the point I want to get to it, where there's no vision, the people perish. How can you prepare for something that you don't know about? All right. Go ahead.
It says, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he.
Right. And there's another precept that just came to mind in Ezekiel, where it speaks about I have blown the trumpet to make all ready, but none go up to the battle. I want to say it's in the 3rd chapter, but we'll see. You know.
This is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 14. They have blown the trumpet even to make all ready.
Right. And who are those that are blowing the trumpet to make all ready? All right. that is talking about the prophets of Yahweh Shem Shai, which is no new thing under the sun. All right, from generation to generation, you've always had men of the Lord that came out and spoke about things that were going to happen in the future before it happened. All right, hence going back to Isaiah the 42nd chapter and the 9th verse, where the Lord said, when I speak of these things and they spring forth, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, and he used the mouth of the prophets. All right. Read that from the top again. Okay, sure.
It says, Ezekiel 7:14, they have blown the trumpet even to make all ready.
Right, and that all, it really is talking about all. All right, it's talking about all nations because, first and foremost, starting with the nation of Israel, because there are things that are coming for us in a prosperous manner that are going to happen. There are things also, like Jeremiah 30:7, which are not so prosperous, which is Jacob's trouble, that are going to happen. But in the midst of us, through the Spirit of the Lord, talking to Israel about these prophecies, these heathens are receiving their judgments as well, their prophetic judgments. Okay? So it says they have blown the trumpet to make all ready. These things are about to happen. All right? The book of Ecclesiasticus, was that Ecclesiasticus or that second Esdras, where it speaks about the words that he speaks are faithful and true. Okay? And this is what we're speaking in this via prophecy. Go ahead, bro.
But none go into the battle.
You know, so the whole, and we're out here week in and week out, Lord willing, and on a daily when we put up these electronic epistles to push out the things that are coming to pass, which right now we're in the midst of wars and rumors of wars. We're in the midst of Esau's technology, which, you know, is really all set up by the orchestrated by the Heavenly Father. It's becoming more and more advanced. Okay, with this AI, okay, with the MOTB and the different fashions that they're ushering it in. This is the times that we're living in. All right, it says that in the book of Romans, the 13th chapter and the 11th verse, which it speaks of being a high time to wake up out of sleep.
I can grab that. But just one more line.
Okay, come on.
It says, "For my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof."
Right, because it can say, "Because my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof." Right, and that, like, you know, as we mentioned, going back into the statement that I made concerning the scripture, Israel, all right, as it says in the scripture, the judgment is going to start with Israel. All right, because that is the house of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, whom this world ignorantly calls God. But the rest of these nations are going to receive judgment as well. Okay, the Israelites that refuse to hearken unto the word, that have been introduced to the word, and also the heathen nations that have nothing to do with teaching the truth and teaching the truth at all, or even pushing prophecies. Right, and because most importantly about these heathen nations, they're not of the Lord. They're not the Lord's people. Okay, so his wrath is upon all the multitude thereof.
This is Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
Right, and that's not just talking solely to the 2/3. That's talking to us as well, in the sense that we have to continue to make sure that we're watching. You know, as men of the Lord, we have to make sure we continue to watch. We continue to see what's going on. And I was thinking about it. There are certain things, you know, and this is why we're grateful, you know, that we have the elders and apostles that we have through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, because there are certain things that the apostles may bring out that, you know, before it even hits the news. You know, there was something that I didn't get a chance to look into it yet, as of yet. But speaking about the big beautiful bill, you know, I first heard this, you know, at least caught wind of it from one of the elders and apostles, specifically Elder Apostle Tahar. And then like a couple days later, I'm hearing it on the news. You know, so these are things that are correlating with things that are to come. You know, these men that are speaking this word in truth and sincerity. I'm kind of losing my way. Let's get back to that scripture.
Can I grab some real fast? Just a definition for that word sleep.
Okay.
God, when you get into the word sleep, it's shown G5258, which is hypnos, and it says sleep. And when you go into go deeper down, it says a spiritual torpor. Now that word torpor is a state of physical or mental inactivity. You know, so like the brother said, it's to the 2/3, but it applies to us as well, because we can fall into a place becoming inactive or getting settled on our leads or lethargic.
Almost in you fall into a spiritual stupor almost. Which is stupor. Uh, the exact definition I don't know, but my understanding of what a stupor is that you're not, you still have a pulse, you're still alive, but you're in a spiritual. I mean, you're in a, you're pretty much you're asleep to the point where you can't feel a pulse. Look at that, man. Look at that.
What? Oh, that
butterfly landed on.
Oh, God.
You're almost a stupor is almost like where you're asleep, almost to the point of being dead, but you're still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
and I looked up the etymology for stupor, and it's really a synonym for torpor because it says insensibility, numbness. It says also state of amazement, insensibility, numbness, dullness, intellectual insensibility, apathy, or torpor of mind. So you just there, which is why the scriptures tell us to watch and pray, because there's a level of activity that we have to continue to have within this truth, because the development when it comes to prophecy is ever developing. We're not at the peak of prophecy yet. The MOTB isn't being rolled out mandatorily globally yet. We are in Jacob's trouble at its peak yet. We aren't in World War III at its peak yet, but the groundwork is being laid for all these prophecies. So that's why we have to continue to watch, so that when we blow the trumpet, we can let the people know the enemy is this far away. Yep. This is how long you have.
Was it more than that?
No, not that etymology.
Ezekiel 3:17. Okay. That's a beautiful point that the brother made. But this is why, the Most High is fair. Even when you go back to the time of Noah, when he was out there building the ark, would you have most of the people saying? They were pretty much scoffing him. I don't know exactly what they were saying, but we know for sure that they were scoffing him. Oh man, we ain't never seen no rain. I don't know what he talking about. Pretty much. And I believe they even had a short TV series on it I believe it was on Disney. But it was the Ark. I believe it was called the Ark. And in that documentary, or that episode, they had Noah out there. He was building the Ark, and you kind of had people throwing stuff at him, mocking him. All to say like, man, this dude tripping. He crazy. You talking about rain? We ain't never seen rain, and which was true. Which is true. Now, how do we correlate that to today? We're going to have to get that Matthew 24 at some point, Lord willing. But during the time of Noah, people had never seen rain. All you knew was the dew from the earth, the mist of the earth, right? So I say that to say, as the scriptures, Isaiah 47 calls America the Virgin Babylon, in the sense of there's never been any type of foreign troops on this land. You've never seen a threat of any international war within the borders of the United States. That means it's not going to happen. Well, here it is. Now think about it. You got with this Project Warhammer, right? You got this Project Warhammer that America carried out on Iran, where they were so-called bombing the nuclear facilities. Yeah, Midnight Hammer. Midnight Hammer, right? Where they were bombing these nuclear facilities, which they later came back and said they actually didn't hit them, right? But the point is, once this operation was enacted, then the talks of sleeper cells in America popped up. Okay, and those sleeper cells, they're pretty much agents, in a sense that they live as Americans. You know how people walk around, you see weird looking people, look at these Arabs. You don't know who's who at this point. There's sleeper cells all throughout the states. And how did this occur? It started with President Joe Biden, man. When all those immigrants came into the land. So there was a high possibility, and they even watching the news this morning, they say it was about at least 1,500 total sleeper cells. Over half of them are already here in the States, which at any point in time they can ignite a terrorist act. So now we're seeing that this place that virginity is about to be broken. Okay, But we can get into it. Kind of start.
No, you good, bro. This is Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. It says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel.
This is a grave responsibility for all of us that call ourselves prophets. You know, even those of you that may know information, it's a grave responsibility to have information and to put it out there, man. Okay? Read that again.
Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel.
Right, a watchman unto the house of Israel. Go ahead.
Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me.
Right, and this is why going back to why this is important for us to make sure that we're on point with the prophecies and know what's going on in the news, and to be able to give Habakkuk the second chapter. I believe it's the second verse that I wanted, but it's important for us to make sure that we're paying attention to what's going on, man. Like even the gospel tells us, to, I believe it's the gospel, correct me if I'm wrong, it says to read, to watch, and pray. Okay? So we're to read these scriptures, the prophecies, you know, whatever is contained in the scriptures, watch, meaning watching the news, you know, even watching our environments to see how things are changing, and read, watch, and to pray that Yahweh Shem Yahushai, in the midst of this thing, delivers us. But you got that, you got it.
Habakkuk chapter 2, can I start verse 1?
Huh.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved.
We have to give, and that goes into giving heed unto the Spirit. It means we got to pay attention to the Spirit, because it says what? I shall watch to listen to see what he shall say to me. Okay? And this is what we're just waiting on to see what the Spirit is going to reveal unto us to put out there. In the same sense of Habakkuk.
And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables.
Right, the vision is talking about the prophecies, and it says what? To make it plain upon tables. So this is why you see when brothers bring out prophecies and bring out different articles, different news artifacts, it's always a scripture that follows it to prove that it's true. Okay, and that we're not just making this up. Also, that's the reason why we go into the words to give certain understandings on things that are prophetic as well. You know?
That he may run that readeth it.
That he may run that readeth it, so you may understand, okay, the times that you're in, what I'm dealing with, how do I prepare for it? Okay, well, you know, and so on and so forth.
For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie.
Right, it says for the vision, is the prophecies are yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And what we see multiple prophecies at this time that are speaking loudly, man, and you can't ignore them. And I was talking to one of the brothers, I think it was like either earlier this week or late last week, and I was like, you know, things are getting serious when you got even niggas, like niggas. I'm talking about, you know, gangbanging niggas talking about what's going on over there in the ring.
It's front page news.
It's front page news. It's nothing else to see. You don't see nothing else. All right, well, you know, for the most part, you can't ignore it. Even if you're on TikTok, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're on X, whatever platform you use, YouTube, you're seeing this. Okay?
But then sometimes things are distractions as well. Because Esau, we have to understand is that Esau has a plan himself. Now everything is in the hand of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you know. But Esau is seeking to undermine the Lord's will, which he's just falling into it by trying to do that. And so Esau will do certain things and have everybody's focus on a certain thing, while, you know, if you pay attention, he's getting something else ready, you know, or he's doing something that you have to search for, pay attention for a little bit harder, and he'll direct your attention over there.
Bread and circuses.
You know, exactly, bread and circuses. But even things that like front page news, you know, you got to look deeper and, you know, see everything that's going on. Look at the full picture, because he'll, you know, Esau is he pushes lying wonders, deceit, witchcraft, sorcery, you know. But back in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3, it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie.
And we're definitely at the end, man. We're definitely at the end. And what proves that is the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter, where it speaks of when you, as it says, at the fig tree start to draw leaves. Can we get that? Where it says that when you see the fig tree drawing. Yeah, let's just get it because I can't remember how it's worded. But there's indicators that show you that we're at the end times, man. Okay, and this is why like when the research that the elder apostles that they presented on their last live stream was so astonishing is because it's showing you that you have certain individuals that are pushing prophecy and certain people that are pushing their own, pretty much their own thing. They're doing their thing. I'm just saying it like that, right? But prophecy is very important, man, because as it says in Revelation 19:10, the spirit of prophecy is a testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai. Okay, we have that, brother.
I thought it was by the on the clouds.
I think it's another one, kind of like the same as Luke. If you can't find that one, in Matthew.
That's the one. Oh, okay, it's Mark. This is Mark 13:28. Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When her branch is yet tender and putteth forth the leaves, ye know that summer is near.
Right. When you start seeing, when you start seeing things flourishing, really, it starts in spring. But when you see things coming back to life, like you understand that, okay, the season is changing. Okay, and that's what we can physically see. That's what we, that's what we can physically see.
So ye in like manner, when ye shall see these things come to pass.
What things is talking about is the wars and the rumors of wars, as we see going on right now with Iran and Israel. Okay, also America's starting to kind of get into the mix. Okay, there's wars and rumors of wars. So that this is what an indicator that, okay, something big is about to happen in the near future, man. Something big is coming. Okay.
Know that it is nigh, even at the doors.
Know that it is nigh. It's very close. And what's very close right now, as we know, we spoke on briefly with the MOTB, how that system is slowly being rolled out, be it through like Neuralink. They're even getting what's another one?
Stentro.
What was the not the adversary, but the competitor of Neuralink? I forget what the name of it was. You had that rolling out.
But yeah, there's a few of them. I don't know the specific one you're looking for, but there's many different companies.
Yeah, nonetheless, the technology is here. We're not about. I just this and that. No, the technology's here. You know what I'm saying? All right, like the brother said, they're laying the foundation to this NWO that they want. At different angles. Why? Because the devil knoweth that he have a short time. I always look at it like they playing around with the CERN. And the Lord told them that he gave them a date. You know what I'm saying? And they probably, either believe it or not, but start to make moves based off of that. Like he like, hey, I'm gonna make you attack Iran on this day. They're like, no way. And then the Lord controls all and controls everything, and boom, he makes them do it, and they like, oh shit. Certain things like that, to the point where yeah, exactly. Well, but that's how, and nonetheless, I mean, he got to get it done. You know what I'm saying? And through the Spirit's gonna have him making moves faster and faster. All right? Really, a part of it is time. Because they always got their time stamps where they want certain things done. They wanted what is it, G6 and the internet and all of that. They basically to reach the next level at 2030, man. Yeah. But then you also got them, y'all speaking on the chip. You got RFK Jr. talking about thinks everybody should have a wearable tracking device. So they're setting the ground. They're just throwing all of this. They're sloppy with it. They just throwing all of this stuff out there what they want because every time you turn around, you just seeing something. We can see it through the Spirit, but they need to hurry up and get people used to hearing these certain terms. All right, and getting used to seeing this just technology advance and advance and advancing. So when it gets to a point where it's like, oh, I didn't even see this coming. It's like, nah, they numb to it pretty much, man.
Yeah, as that term, I heard the elder, not the elder apostle, but the elder Ariala from the GMS downscape brought out a while ago is that gradually, you just getting people used to it. It becomes a normal thing, to the point where when it's pushed out on a major scale, it's acceptable. There's going to be less resistance. Which, that's we're rolling into that time.
And that's, you go ahead. No, I was just slacking for good, but that's what they're doing with AI right now. Because AI is a major framework within the MOTB technology, and they're pushing AI for people to become more familiarized with it, more in touch with it, to where once AI starts getting pushed, taking people's jobs, being more commonplace in everybody's lives, it's not going to be a weird thing. It's not going to take people back. It's like we've been seeing this, and this is normal now. Go ahead, get So Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, that the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it.
What's up, Ari?
Because it will surely come, it will not tarry.
Yeah, let's get that in the apocrypha. It says, for the words are faithful and true. Read that last part again, Baba Bashar. The words that we speak are our own. We're confident that these things are faithful and true because we're seeing them. Also, it's written in the scripture, so there's infallible proof. Which an infallible proof is something that you cannot refute the facts of. You go ahead.
Habakkuk 2 and 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, that the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry.
It will surely come, it will not tarry. And this is what I believe through the Spirit is when you have once this MOTB is fully initiated on a major scale to where they're mass chipping, that prophecies following right behind it are going to flow simultaneously. Okay, you're going to have martial law. Okay, you're going to have the wars actually going to break out. You're going to have these detention centers. Okay, and ultimately it's going to come to the ultimate destruction. These things are going to flow back to back, man. But you have that, brother.
It's the second Ezra 15 and 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true.
That's plain and simple. The words that were given unto us were given from the Lord, and we speak them because they're faithful and true. Because when you go into the word prophecy, pro meaning before, phasai meaning to speak. Okay, so the things that are spoken before are the things that we ought to bring out. Like we went to the book of Ezekiel, the 7th chapter, where it spoke of making everyone ready for the battle. All right, because there are things coming that we've never seen before. All right, draconian measures are coming. All right, you got something?
Nah, I was like, did you want? Oh no, we still got that Joel. Okay, hey, I did have some.
If you have something, you have a shot. Yeah, find it.
I got it. It's the 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 20, or Salakia, verse 21. It says, for the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of the Most High spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit.
Right, and hey, that's going back to the Holy Spirit came from the Heavenly Father that put the words in these different men. You had certain prophets that received certain revelations. Isaiah received certain revelations via prophecy. Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, all these men, they received, some similar, but some slightly different, but all correlating to what? The end of times, man. Okay? And this was all by the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. This is why we ought to bring out the scriptures. As it says in 1 Thessalonians, to prove all things, because these things that we're speaking, we're not just pulling them out of nowhere, man. All right? And now, as we spoke of, things are becoming more and more evident. All you see on the front page is what's going on with Iran and Israel, man. That's all you see going on. And this is what? This is prophecy that's been spoken of by the men that the Lord sent out, saying that there was going to be wars and rumors of wars. And now you see it coming to pass. All right? So the truth, and I've heard brothers say this before, and I concur to it, is the truth stands on its own. So when we read the scriptures and you see it happen, it's like, that's what the Bible said. Not when we said. We've been bringing it out of the Bible. Okay? Was there more to that?
No, that was it. So it's Joel chapter 2, verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain.
Right. And the trumpet right now that we're blowing is the trumpet of there's war on the way. There's peace is about to be put down. As it says in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, where there's a time and a season to every purpose under the heaven. And right now, the time that we're living in is not the time of peace. It's not the time of building up. It's not the time of mending things together. It's the time of destruction. It's the time of war. It's the time of, as the scriptures say, killing. Okay, these are the times that we're walking into. Okay? Go ahead.
It says, let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand.
And not a lot of people are trembling at this word, man. All right? We're not out here to push our own agenda. We're not out here to push a fear tactic. We're out here just to bring the Bible out. Okay? We'll read that part again.
Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble.
Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. Okay? And the only ones that are really trembling are those who are keeping up with what's going on, and you understand what the Bible is saying concerning these times. But we have to bring it out so that everyone may know. Because you go ahead.
For the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there had not been ever the like, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the years of many generations.
Yeah, so that's it. That's all I wanted to that at least. No, but it says a day of gloominess and a day of darkness, which that darkness represents bad evil, which is bad times. And we're rolling into bad times, but this is why we have to constantly push it, because especially amongst our people, because the elect is amongst the nation of Israel only. We have to push this word that they may hear this word, and if they're of the elect, they may be sealed. All right, not by us, but by the Heavenly Father. Okay? That's all I want to know.
This is a thing, like, because when we speak on, we got to think about, evil times. What are evil times? Because it could be a general word. You know what I'm saying? And the evil times that we're in, when it speaks of that, it's a lot of things associated with it. You got propaganda. All right. Let's get that scripture that says we shall be a byword. Okay. The Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, we are truly in an evil time because we're being targeted. All right. Let's get the wiles of the devil as well.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord Yahweh shall lead thee.
Can we get the word astonishment?
When you get the word astonishment, it goes into the Hebrew word shama, which is waste, horror, appalment, a waste of land, city, etc. The root goes into being desolate, to being appalled, or stupefied.
Yeah. So pretty much, you're in a bad place. You're in a low place. You're not to be considered. You're so low that you're inconsiderate, and that's why it says, the dead shall be quickened. All right. When it talks about the dead, it's talking about people that don't have a voice, that are inconsiderate. And there's a bunch of verses that reference the dead in that light, in a different light, because sometimes it says that dead bodies shall lie in the streets. You know what I'm saying? In other references like that. You know what I'm saying? Quicken the dead. Okay? Because you could be spiritually dead as well. All right? But
that means you don't have a voice, you're insignificant. All right, so we should be in astonishment, and the world looks at us like that through propaganda. All right, I was watching this one video the other day. I think the brothers were sharing it. They had it's not Issachar but Moab dressing up as Louis Armstrong, black body, not black face, but they had the naps and everything, you know, and it's like, they're so-called they're cosplaying, but it's still a disrespectful thing, okay? You know what I'm saying? And all these nations see what they put on TV about Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, how they put out that Native Americans are drunks, Negroes is all we want to do is fight, party, and steal, and you know what I'm saying. Then you got the Issachar, you know what I'm saying. All they do is work for free. They don't know they don't have no intelligence. You know what I'm saying. The whole idea of Darwinism, eugenics, chattel slavery, okay. All this was ideas of evil, all right, which creates hard times against us. All right. Tuskegee Project, there's different things of that nature. Okay. Yeah.
See, Ephesians 6:11, it says, "Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil."
And that's very important because at the end of the day, there's a lot of things happening, and this is the thing is that Esau has so many snares and nets and tricks and things that catch you up that even if you were paying attention, you would still get tripped up because he has layers in his lies. Just like we're talking about this Middle Eastern thing. Within the Middle Eastern thing, they sat there and turned around and passed one of those bioeconomic laws where not bio but dealing with the MOTB, something related to that. Can somebody look that up real quick? That article, the digital, it's like a digital currency law that they passed during the Iranian deal.
God,
Got it?
yep. It says Senate passes landmark Genius Act stablecoin bill. It says the Genius Act. This bill establishes the first federal framework for dollar-pegged stablecoins, granting authority to the Department of Treasury and opening the door to banks, fintechs, and retailers. It says a major legislative win for the crypto industry.
Yeah. So let's get into what to have them sum it up or condense it in easy words.
Okay.
So stable coins is a digital currency designed to maintain a stable value, often pegged to a traditional currency like the U.S. dollar or a commodity like gold. Okay, because the U.S. dollar again is not a stable currency. Okay, maybe a partially digital currency due to credit cards and bank accounts, but overall it's not a stable currency because money is known as a fiat note, and a fiat means so let it be. And this is Esau's thing, a problem reaction solution, because the thing is that we got all these wars and rumors of wars and all these evils, but the thing is the bulk of these evils are conspired because war is profitable. Okay, so these rich elites, your Rothschilds, we ain't talking about countries. Countries work for higher people that's behind a curtain. And that's those rich elite bankers. As they say, give me the control of their money and I care not who makes the laws. I don't care about the government. They become the government because every politician's in your pocket. All right, once you get a person in debt, they're in servitude for you forever. All right, and look at how we are. You got to get up and do things every day based off of debt, based off of rent. All right, and you're in a situation that you have to pay rent instead of owning your house. You know what I'm saying? You got to get up different. Okay, so this debt system creates a servitude system. All right, and that's why a lot of these so-called a lot of these rich elite bankers were kicked out of a lot of countries because a lot of them were I would say the bulk of them are Amalekites, which are the so-called JEOOs that are in our land right now, and they've been kicked out of a lot of countries for usury, because usury creates to where you can manipulate a system, man. You can make a politician do what you want, even though he may want to do one thing with his state or city, you know what I'm saying, or country, and then because he owes you a favor, hell, just like they're giving billions of dollars to Israel. Hell, just like Israel sit there and say, America, you gotta jump in. Okay? So getting back to what I was saying is it's a digital currency, but they're trying to say make it a stable currency because that's a problem reaction solution, because our current currency goes up and down. And you got a lot of because I was talking about these world politics, because you got China, the tariffs on China, you got the cargo situation from the 2020 situation, you got airplanes, all right, you got ships crashing, okay, so that's land, sea, and air as far as communication and product that has been affected, okay. And I've been reading this for a while now. In that second Esdras, it says, since people think themselves to be in such a good case, this fully, consider themselves to be in good case. They don't know this sudden destruction is coming upon them. All right, because you got propaganda, then you got the overflow of product coming into America, but pretty soon, problem react solution, these prices are going to skyrocket. All right, you got tariffs on China, you got Iran disclosed the Persian Gulf, which is can somebody look up the significance of closing the Persian Gulf in America? All right, but, all these are just Google searches. Okay, once you go and AI is even though it's helping Esau dramatically with all this fake video, it's also step on his foot, because you can't stop AI. They're gonna tell you straight up. Okay, let's get that precept real quick.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case.
Yeah, yep.
And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion.
See? So we're in a situation right now that everything is constantly flowing. But people don't realize it's like you can just cut this valve off and it stop immediately. All right? All it takes is a so-called pandemic. And we went through it. But Jake still got that complacency demon on him. All right? Where the 2020 happened, and then you had to get water. We were talking about the gas situation, how Jake was putting the gas back in your truck with a tarp. People are just totally unprepared for famine, man, and desolation.
It's like the fact of uncertainty. You just go and get this and get that, and there was a lot of, because at those times there was a lot of meat that was in the stores, a lot of noodles, ramen noodles and shit. And it's like, well, if you ain't got no power, what you gonna do with this? People not thinking about getting a can of beans, getting a fucking can of soup, getting tuna packets, and that's because this is what America breeds. It just breeds you to consume, and become a worker bee, pretty much. Did you want the Genius Act first, or the Close Administrator?
Genius Act.
So it says the Genius Act, or the Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Act, establishes a federal regulatory framework for payment stablecoins, which are digital assets designed to maintain a stable value relative to a fixed amount of US dollars or other assets.
So it's almost like a protective coin. It's a protective piece of money. Because guess what? The American dollar is a fiat note and it's a stock fiat note. It's based off of what is valued as. All right. So once America go to war, that dollar's gonna go up and down, man. Just like when Trump did them tariffs, it messed up a lot of stock markets, and that affects the dollar because the dollar's not backed by gold. That's why I say that's BS to compare it to gold because it's not backed by gold. And gold, no matter it don't matter. Gold, if you take a troy ounce of gold and go anywhere in the world, it's gonna spend the same. Okay, fiat American dollars don't do that. All right, American dollars back in the '90s, you could go to Kenya, you can go anywhere, and $100 in Kenya is almost like having $20,000. But once you try to compare the currency now, it's dropping and it's starting to parallel out with a lot of these countries, which is why a lot of them are dropping the dollar. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that the dollar's too powerful in its as far as everything it touches. It has too much of a network that's touching too many people for it to be dropped. All right? Because you can't just take the yuan, the Chinese yuan or whatever that is, and just say, okay, we're gonna take over. That's like having just like with streaming services. You know, you might have a company like boxing or something. They have a streaming service, and they may get into it with that old streaming service because they were ineffective in certain ways. They was charging too much, or they was trying to steal something, but they was getting the job done. But then you say, oh, they just fucked up people. I'm about to get a new streaming service, and I need to serve the masses of the world. That streaming service is gonna be buffering. It's gonna do all kind of shit. It's gonna struggle in its beginning. You go ahead.
I'm gonna say like Netflix when they hosted the Tyson and Jake Paul situation. It was too many people on there and they couldn't handle all of that
because it was new to the situation. Because it didn't have, they didn't go through all the kinks and the things. They don't got the connects. You know what I'm saying? So long story short is that this dollar has its hands in every country and in network through every country. And for somebody else to come in, you can't just switch out a system like that. And then the country has to have relationships with all the other countries. And it's not like that. People got to understand that. America's in every country on planet Earth, man. All right? But the thing is that what they're trying to do with these elites is far past country to country. They're trying to own the whole world. So they're trying to make the whole world under this digital currency. And the thing is, which is the MOTB, all right, which is what these guys, you got a guy saying that anybody look for signs and they're misinterpreting the scriptures. Look, man, that don't mean that. That means you need more than what the Lord is telling you. You need to see something. You need to wake up in the morning, all right? Because he said that he's going to give you a sign. And it's going to be the Son of Man coming. So if you see that sign, does that mean you're looking for a sign too? It doesn't literally mean every sign. It's talking about a person that needs to see something like Thomas to believe it. Okay? If you're constantly saying, well, you saying the Lord coming, or the Bible's written by the Lord, prove to me then. Show me a sign. That's what it's talking about. But that's a different subject for a different time. Go ahead.
all right. As far as the Strait of Hormuz, which it says closing the Persian Gulf, specifically the Strait of Hormuz, will significantly impact the United States by causing a spike in oil prices, potentially leading to economic instability and inflation. While the U.S. imports only a small percentage of its oil from the Persian Gulf, the global impact of disrupted oil supply would drive up prices worldwide, including the U.S.
Yeah, it'll drive up our prices a little bit, but Europe gonna feel it, man.
Yeah.
All right, Rome and Italy, all them people gonna feel it. And guess who they're part of? They're part of the Euro. They're part of NATO and all that. They're part of the beast. And that's why the scriptures will sit there and tell you, all those that point their arrows, turn their arrows and point around and shoot.
Yeah.
All right, the nations that are at peace with thee Let's get that, because it's not like it just turned. They just walked in and say, "No, I'm just gonna turn on you guys." No, America be doing shit, man. Because they came out and said, "What y'all doing in the Middle East is fucking us over." They said that a long time ago, man. All right, I think it was a guy in NATO at a NATO summit, and he was getting on Babylon for starting shit with other countries and making it bad for the European countries. You know what I'm saying? Y'all messing with Russia, bro. Y'all understand we get our grains from Russia. Y'all starting shit with them. It may not affect y'all, but it affects us. Okay? Then y'all tell us we can't go and mess with this country over here, and then you go and mess with our supply. And we're supposed to be the beacon of light to the world. You know?
This is the book of Obadiah, verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
Yeah, so the people that is in league with Babylon, they're gonna lead eventually. Like niggas saying, we got this, we got, man. A lot of them countries gonna turn on you, man, and then that's gonna trip you up. Like they said, we got the 757 F2 B12 bomber and all this shit, right? But then you gotta fuel that motherfucker up, nigga. Okay? You gotta fuel it, just like your Ghost and Dragon. What happens when Pakistan say, we're not fueling you up no more? What happens when you fly to Europe and say, we're not fueling you up because we don't got no gas, because our gas price is too damn high because of your ass? Right? And then you say, oh, I'll give you this money. No, man, no. Because we're going to have to go through this if you didn't keep starting shit with every fucking body every fucking other year, man.
I appreciate it.
You know? All these nations go, the nations have drunk of a wine, therefore the nations are mad, man.
Sick of your shit.
Okay? But the thing is that people in this country don't realize that the economic impact that's happening in France and Europe and all these other countries, and how degenerate people are becoming, how much they're starting to hate America. Okay? They call Babylonians Yankees then. You know, who knows what they call us now, man. See you on there doing mukbangs. You know, you on TikTok doing dumb shit while people get bobbed.
Right.
See you up there enjoying living your best life. Okay, go ahead.
So Revelation chapter 17, verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Yeah, and those 10 horns is the NATO and the EU. That's the European. So, because it tells you in 2nd Ezra 15 chapter that 15 and 30 that the raids of the Carmanians, which is the Iranians, okay, they're gonna waste a portion of their armies. All right, and then it tells you within Revelation that the 10 horns is gonna can you read that again?
It's Revelation 17, 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Make her desolate. Let's go to that word desolate. Make her desolate and naked, man.
God, desolate is Strong's G2049, which is to make desolate, lay waste, to ruin, to despoil one, strip her of her treasures.
Yeah, it's gonna. Iran's gonna get on your ass. The NATO and the EU is gonna get on your ass. All right, the chariots. Let's get the scriptures where the chariots are gonna get involved. And it says, where 2nd Ezra, wherever the angel looked or the chariot looked, it was smoke and dust, nothing to be perceived. Okay.
It's 2nd Ezra chapter 13, and you want to just get straight to the point?
Yeah. It's a long read, so we get straight to it. I just want the chariot, the Lord's getting involved.
2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 8 says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet there's fight.
That's talking about NATO and the EU, all these armies. Everybody's going to try to get together and try to fight against the Lord, because it's going to be like that statement. If there's a foreign entity, we all will come together, right? But America's going to be getting his ass tore up from everybody. And then the chariot's going to come and then it's gonna come and get, it's gonna jump in too. But then everybody gonna try to turn and get on the chariots and fight the chariots, but it's not gonna work. Okay,
Grab that real quick.
Come.
It's Revelations 12:7, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found anymore in heaven.
And that's pretty much the the good against evil. This is not like we looking in the sky, and we're seeing Satan on one side. You see demons grabbing an angel and he's punching him, and he hits the ground and makes a crater like it's some type of damn movie. But what you will see, you're gonna see chariots, you're gonna see fighter jets. All right, you're gonna see Israelites. All right, with spiritual powers. Okay, because guess what? The Lord said He shall turn fishers into hunters. Okay,
So lift up a standard.
so He's gonna. Let's get Job 18:11. But you can say what you're gonna say.
So I'm thinking about the movie. I don't know which Avenger movie it was, but everybody was banging and all of that. They was on the ground, and Thanos had his little ships and shit up there. Lo and behold, Captain Marvel, the blonde-haired woman, come through just punching straight through the ship. They fighting these ships all day. She just slide through, just boom, just blowing it up. But that's a depiction of what's going to be. You're going to be seeing Israelites doing that, man.
Like they talk about we got this ship. We got the there's no way you can shoot that down. It flies too high. It's okay. Then you're just gonna see a chariot just like that rocket that was coming over here. Hit I think it was headed towards Babylon or Israel, and the chariot just came up and just got busy on it. It just fell out the sky like a cigarette, man. Yep. You know, just fell, hit the ground, and it was useless. Okay, and then the Lord said, every missile that is shot upon her shall land, man. So that missile, the Lord showing you His power. That missile defense system, He could shut it down.
He and just like back, I believe it was back in the 70s. They said they saw a chariot over one of them nuclear sites, and it just started a countdown. When it got close to the end of it, it just everything went normal, and the chariot took off. That's the Lord showing you, like, hey, I can do what I want around here.
Yeah, that's during the Cold War.
Okay.
With Russia and all that, which is significant because that's what was going on during the Cold War, was that Russia was the same scenario now. Or leading up to, aka trying to avoid it, was this the country saying that they're gonna let loose their thermonuclear missiles. You already got strong ops. You got North Korea, all right. You got China, all right. And again, these people, they want war. Okay, they want war so that they can crash this system. That's why they're talking about this Genius Act. That's why, even though this war situation is something serious, that there's also something else to his sorcery and his enchantments and his wickedness, man. It's always an underlying thing that he's doing. He's always, not letting his left hand know what his right hand doing. He's gonna do something on the slick. Okay.
He said he was gonna attack in 2 weeks, and then it was like like a week and a half or something.
So Job chapter 18, verse 11. Terror shall make him afraid on every side.
Yes, and that's why I was explaining that you got Jake that's rising up, you got social rises, you know what I'm saying? Even though a lot of these things are orchestrated. Some things are natural occurrences and it's instigated. Because Esau thinks he's in control, and he's like, oh, this is my opportunity to implement my new world order. And they'll try to, do things, right? But at the end of the day, you got social unrest, you got economic unrest, you got propaganda, you got, cell phones, you got, shit in the food, okay? But at the end of the day, you can't control the spirit, but all this is sifting everybody to put them in their positions. You know what I'm saying? Even with this, the people protesting, okay? All this protesting going on. and the situation that happened in Florida where they said, "Hey, man, you run them over." Look, that's a direct attack on the First Amendment. Okay, and then you got they're flipping it in people like IUIC or Sakari, where you could be enticed to do something dumb. All right, go out there and mess with churches, go out there and be violent, walking out there with guns. You know what I'm saying? So now you got that law to say you don't need to peacefully protest because y'all are dangerous. And then you can say, well, y'all church people are dangerous. They're saying religion is dangerous at this point. They're passing laws on that.
Yep.
So they're setting the table up to stop prophets from coming out and hitting the highways. It's just setting the table up from stopping the average American from being able to be so-called the average American. How they came over here, where it says democracy, freedom of choice, giving power to the people. That's about to be taken away, and a bulk of it was willingly given away by the citizens because of comfort, man. All right. Oh yeah. Let's everybody deserves respect. So let's make more rules so you can't say anything to certain people. Okay. Now you're governing freedom of speech. Okay. Now you're governing the right to peacefully assemble. Then you try to flip the script. It's all propaganda because they're trying to destroy this system. They're trying to destroy the financial part and the cultural part. All right. This place was founded on Christianity. Okay. President swore in on the Bible. You go to court, you swear in on the Bible. But now they don't even do that, man. Okay. I think somebody has sworn on something weird. Somebody in an important position. They just like, I ain't gonna swear on the Bible, I'm swearing on something else. Okay.
I remember that too, bro.
I just can't remember what it was. Y'all got something? Y'all got something? Bring it out.
Yeah, so this Matthew chapter 24, verse 24. It says, "For there shall rise false Hamashiachs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect."
Yeah, and there's guys out here, pursuant to all these things going on. They're not really speaking on these prophecies, man. You got Jake saying that the MOTB is not the micro C hip. It's just like in the time of Rome, they were using, if you claim to be in a religion or a Christian, that they wouldn't like to let you get this coin, and it's the only coin that you look. You're trying to flip it at the end of the day, because the micro C hip is you confessing in not even a roundabout way, a well-rounded way, that you're relinquishing everything, including your body. All right, you're totally, it's far past religion. Because you can repent. Okay, you can repent. We was in a Gentile state of mind at a point, and that beast didn't have a hold of us then. But the only way that you relinquish your ability to repent is that you physically give up everything that you got, man, by signing that deal. Okay, because once shit hit the fan, they're gonna come out with this CBDC system, this new system, and say, if you want to eat again, you want to live again, you're gonna have to take this MOTB, man. And it ain't gonna be no, oh, I'm no longer a Christian, I don't believe in God, and they give you $1 that you can just keep putting in all the machines. And nigga, what if you say nigga psych, nigga, and then you start playing after that and keep using $1?
You still got the infinity dollar.
Right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna work.
Psych.
Nigga run. Oh, fuck, another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep doing this. No. Right? What's gonna happen is, they already know niggas is on that time. They dealt with niggas since the beginning of slavery, bro. Niggas been escaping, hitting them with lines and shit. I'm about to go get some blood. Niggas been doing that since slavery. So you mean tell me Esau is not privy to Jake's bullshit? After he got a whole MK Ultra program of studying people's behaviors,
There you go, right?
And shit like that. You mean to tell me he ain't come up with a system to make sure that Jake don't supplant him like he did him before? Come on, man.
They came up with
Wait,
lie
hold up.
detector
Let me
tests
see.
at least. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
like they're the master lies. Like you say, you can't bullshit a bullshitter.
Exactly.
So Esau is gonna come up with a system that has hella holes in it. He got a Walmart self-checkout line version of the MOTB. And no, nigga, there's so many holes to that area. Niggas using bubble gum, tearing it up, man.
I got appreciate
All kind of loopholes, you know. But what's going to happen? That's why the MOTB has to be there, because once you sit there, you're saying that I am not saying my body is from the Most High anymore.
Yeah.
My body's no longer a temple to Yahweh. Yeah. My body is a temple to you, because once you put that chip inside you, all right, that chip is gonna say, you're gonna be telling your new God where your location is, just like the Most High can see. You're gonna be telling him how you feeling, how you thinking, be it through your vitals and his science, his pseudoscience. All right. He's going to be able to kill or make you alive at the touch of a button. All right. He's going to be able to put your financial systems, that's your blessings and your curses. You know what I'm saying? He's able to play God with your life for sure. It ain't no matter. You can say, man, you know what? I ain't with this beast system no more. And you could have a vibration. There's all kind of cameras all over the place. And you say that, and he could read that shit and he just shut you off. Boom. That's how it works, man. You get this fucking coin or a face scan and you good. And then I don't believe in that dumbass shit. No, you're gonna have to believe in that system, because guess what? You ain't gonna be able to do a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be able to there ain't gonna be no Bibles, okay? Things like that. You to participate in Esau's system, you're already trying to get rid of it in school. How much more when they get this beast system? All right. And the only way you're gonna be able to eat and live is if you get into that place. And the only way you get access. Oh, I ain't no Christian. All right, no, nigga. that don't work in a job. That don't work. Like, they don't ask you questions. Have you ever been fired? And then you be like, no. And be like, oh, okay, you haven't been. No, they're asking you to see if you're gonna lie to them, nigga. They're way beyond them dumbass low level plan outs that you got. All right. I wanted to get this with that Genesis Act. In the AI overview, it says other relevant legislation. Senator Mike Lee also reintroduced the No CBDC Act, which claims to prevent the Federal Reserve System from issuing a central bank digital currency. According to Senator Lee's website, the bill follows an executive order by President Trump banning federal agencies from creating a CBDC, because at the end of the day, they want to create their own. All right. Yeah. But this shows you that they're trying to fight for a central bank digital currency. And we already have a central bank built through the Federal Reserve System. They're just trying to turn it digital. Yeah. All right.
That's just the next step. Cause they ain't gonna just, all right, we ain't dealing with the dollar, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah. Can I read something else on that situation, bro?
And even Esau understands how the scriptures work, because even Yahweh Shai said you got to destroy something to build it. Okay, so Esau knows he has to destroy this whole system, but he can't just and punch himself in the face, and nobody gonna trust him. Okay, so he has to create this thing, but it got to be safe enough to where people survive. All right, you got to create a world war, depopularize, sell weapons. Okay. Make goods more expensive, change the digital currency, change laws. It's a massive overhaul. Okay, was that a mass bid?
It says the Genius Act, officially the Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stable Coins Act, is a piece of legislation that aims to create a comprehensive federal. Trying to get to the part. Says it recently passed the Senate and is now awaiting approval for the House of Representatives. The bill defines payment stablecoins, outlines requirements for their issuer, and establishes regulatory oversight at both the federal and state level. And It said, here are some of the key benefits of the Genius Act 2025. It says increase consumer trust and confidence in stable coins. By establishing clear rules and regulations, including reserve requirements and monthly audits, the Act aims to make stable coins a more trustworthy and legitimate currency for investors and businesses.
Yeah, it's not really for people because once you start thinking about it, like look, us buying something from Russia, we could do that as consumers. It's really difficult for business people to do business with different countries.
Oh, okay.
You gotta now, if I as a country I got this company that creates this dollar. Creates this device, but Russia has the factory to do it. Then I gotta get in contact with Russia. Then I gotta do business with them back and forth, be it through, U.S. currency or whatever their currency is. So that could take months. That could take days. Just like how Western Union used to take a long time to transfer money from one person to another, because it's not just like, because again, we're just so used to the ushering in of the MOTB, Cash App, PayPal. All that is you getting closer to MOTB, which is pretty much as any human being able to transact financially from anybody on planet Earth. All right, PayPal is a part of the B system. Why the hell you think Trump got Elon Musk up in there? He's a person that is MOTB ready, man.
He's over PayPal, right?
He created PayPal.
Okay.
He created PayPal, and pretty much they made him like a puppet leader, and he got mad, and then he left and created, whatever he'd been doing with X and all that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then once he did, he bought Twitter out, and now he's trying to again merge social, and he's trying to merge the social and finance in outer space. I think it's social finance in outer space, something like that. But that's a weird combination, social and finance. But you can see it because if you're trying to sell something, you got to get it to everybody. So if I got Amazon, problem solved. And that solves problems for every business. So all these entrepreneurs and CEOs are not going to go against it, even though they're pouring themselves into a beast system, because you want to make as much money off of capitalism as you possibly can. So even though I sell these baby dolls and I can make enough for me to sustain my family and live good, I want to sell to the whole world and be the the best baby doll seller ever. Nah, man, a nigga in Nebraska needs to be a baby doll seller. A nigga in the South Side needs to be a baby doll seller. And then you got fair game to where everybody's eating, not just one nigga just consuming everything up, man.
Greedy, man.
Yeah. They don't leave no damn breaks, man.
Con.
Right.
Oh, you got that?
Yeah, I got
Go ahead, bro.
This is the book of Obadiah, verse 5. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? So, it says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?
Yep. So there's no depth to how low he'll go to consume and take everything. Here it is. He got niggas on social securities and birth certificates, and he's trying to hit you with an MOTB. Okay, he already got you. He already got us. Everybody that's born has to be documented and claimed as being a property of the government. Okay, where he was born. It's like when you get a firearm, you gotta get the paperwork on it. Everything has a receipt. Receipt shows ownership, man. When you're born, you got a receipt, a birth certificate, and a social security number, man. You got a receipt number, like you got that receipt number underneath. We got a receipt number. You were born on this day. You were purchased by America on this day. Might as well say, okay? Because this whole immigration thing. You know what I'm saying? Now they're getting Haitians and shit. Nigga, that's niggas.
Yeah.
This, Cause I remember the brother, just real quick, the brother Mike out in LA was doing a lesson, and he was like, pretty much we can't be really caring too much for our people, man. You know what I'm saying? Even though we see them going through fucked up situations, getting deported and ICE this and that or whatever, but it's like at the end of the day, we can't care because it's the judgment. You know what I'm saying? Because I was in the store today, and I'm looking at potential Issachar. You know what I'm saying? And just me on the outside looking in, I'm like, man, our people, our people are gonna get fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But this is the will of the Heavenly Father, man. We just gotta, well, like he said in Esdras, as those that be like thee. You know what I'm saying?
It's that judgment, man. All that idol worship Issachar be doing. You know what I'm saying? All the idol worship Northern Kingdom be doing. Like, we're not, you know what I'm saying like, it's twofold. You done sold out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them came over here, thought they was Edomites and shit. All right? A lot of them came over here and started being mean to their own people. You know, Israelites. All right? Talking shit about Jake and shit like that. All right? A lot of them, when Jake was going through it, didn't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not like it's not warranted.
Yeah.
On why certain people are being targeted, because if you're a man of the Lord's gonna protect.
Yep.
All right, you're not gonna fall underneath that, guys. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these brothers, a lot of these crazy events that's like prophecies being fulfilled, storms, tornadoes, shit blowing up, floods, all that, man. Freeze overs. Jake been making through it, all that, man. All right.
It might be close, but every time a tornado touch down here, it's always out west.
That's where we nowhere near. Okay, and Jake lived out west at a point.
Yep.
All right. And that's the thing. The Lord protects. It ain't no. Oh, that's because you're on this side of town and the wind hits at 40 kilometers down. No, bro. The Lord puts us in the right place at the right time.
It even hit at the airport, which is 10 minutes from here, if that. And the Lord, like brother said, the Lord protects, man. And that's when those things happen. That's what you got to keep in your mind. Like, okay, the Lord brought me through that. Call all y'all Bashim al Shai, because that ain't the end of it, because we ain't out of here yet, man. Like this brother always spoke about the burning building. You're in a burning building and the fire department get called. You're not saved until you're out of that building. Not when they on the way and you still up in there. All of that, man. Until they get there and get you out, that's when you're saved. So that's the same with this. America's on fire right now. All right? People don't see it, but the men of the Lord see it. America's burning right now.
We're being watchmen on the tower. Jake has been continuing in the days of Jonah, Noah. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Where they just want to keep on playing and parlaying and doing what the hell they want, not knowing that sudden destruction is gonna come. All right, and it's not like I be around 2/3 all the time, bro. All this shit going on, Jake, is to be like willingly ignorant. They don't want to talk about that shit. They feel like you being a Debbie Downer. Niggas be talking about going to college and creating this business and going on this vacation, and you start talking about, bro, you better watch yourself, man. Something can happen to you. Or they be like, oh, here he go. You just don't know how to have fun. You don't know how to live your life, create memories. There's gonna be a memory, and it says, lay your treasures up in heaven, man. All right, Jake be trying to and not get it, because if you start putting off from the world, and you start hanging around people or listening to people, it make you feel like you're missing out on shit, man. Your family, oh man, you get with them and they want you to, it's like, we got to do this. And it's like, there's a reason why I haven't been doing this. You know why? Because I've been laying my treasures up in heaven. What I haven't been doing here, I've been investing to your Shimi al Shai. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the thing that the world will do to you, make you feel like, damn, I need to start doing this a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's a reason why I was going. I just forgot because I was doing it so much. And that because we was investing in this gospel, man. You know what I'm saying? Read, watching, and praying. looking, being vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. You know? Go ahead, brother.
So 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 14. Let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, and put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times.
Yep. That's one of the heaviest thoughts. You know, your kids and how they gonna grow up and shit like that. That's heavy thoughts.
Because that is like so, like you said before, I believe, like a dark cloud that just follows over you.
Follows over you, but it's like you gotta have it because it's the only way you build credit.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like they want you in depth. They want you because you have to. If I got you in depth, now you gotta work. You can't just stay off the grid like legally. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I bought my land. I gotta pay no taxes. Imagine you bought land. Every time you buy land, you don't gotta pay taxes no more. There'll be a lot of motherfuckers not paying shit.
Yep.
They just grow their own shit. Probably just buy water, travel to a water well with somebody sell water that they own. They bought that. America, the government would plunder fast.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because you would have to, the way you treat people, you can't rally no fucking troop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But the way the Lord runs his system is nothing to rally the troops because the Lord's going to provide. You know what I'm saying? When we was in our land, we gave 10% to the king. Wouldn't, you know, and then when they need to do something like build a temple, they'll put a tax. But it was for, it's, you know what I'm saying? They're like America don't say, look, bro, next year we gotta build this B-2 bomber and this ship. So we're going to hit y'all over the head next year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then when they build it, like, all right, we did that. Then we're going to do this over here next year. And the taxes don't go up and down based off of like proof of what the fuck they're building and shit. They just say we're going to do all this shit and hit you over the head.
These things unnecessary, ain't even attached to us. It's mainly the military and shit like that, you know, and it just, we ain't got a choice. We can't, you know what I'm saying?
Can y'all get the budget, the annual budget for the military, the annual budget for the education, Department of Education?
Y'all already know I'm about to do.
I got it. I don't think I got it. He's lucky. I don't got it. Left it at home.
I remember though.
The U.S. military's annual budget, specifically for the Department of Defense, is approximately $849.8 billion.
$849.8 billion.
With a B.
With a B. Big B.
As in better. Says,
and the thing is, this is tax payer money. Yearly. The fuck you need that much money for? What the fuck you need all that money for, bro? Like, taxing every fucking thing, bro. Getting 800, that's just for the Department of Defense. Okay? Because the Department of Foreign Relations, that's like the second one on the list. You going from country to country to country, shipping aid to them JEOOs, Ukraine. That's where all the bulk of our fucking money going. Elon Musk came and busted these so-called left-wing agendas when they was pushing all that call that shit. You know, they're left-wing of the alphabet community. These niggas going to Brazil having drag parties. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Going here, millions and millions of dollars, sending condoms out. Just millions and millions of dollars, so-called. Because this is the thing. This is why I'm reading this, because they ain't like them niggas say, you know what? We about to buy $2 million worth of Magnums. And then we're going to actually ship it out and say, damn, that was dumb. They didn't do that, man. You know what I'm saying? For one, they probably bought one crate of Magnums. And say they bought a whole fucking shipment. Nobody wants them. Nobody want that shit. Where's the evidence? That's just like paintings. That's just like paintings. Nigga, like, it's subjective. So they you can launder money that way.
Yeah.
You know, you can look at something that's you like, that's worth $5. Tell them I spent $3 million on this. You know what I'm saying? Now that money could be shipped from one person to another. That'd be a whole drug deal. I'm saying, like, but you doing it through a painting that you really don't give a fuck about.
That's crazy.
You know? A lot of money get laundered through paintings.
I be wondering why them paintings be so expensive like
And
that.
then be looking so dumb.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of laundering.
Nigga paid this for that.
You know what I'm saying? And once you set a price on it, it gets stuck there.
Yep.
You know? Some shit actually be provocative, and some shit actually be like, God damn, this is some, like the Mona Lisa and shit, marble of Michelangelo's marble statue. But Basquiat ain't nothing but a homosexual money launderer.
Bro, don't let Jake hear you talk about Basquiat like that.
That nigga idiot.
Now, I remember they had this store that they set up, I believe it was in New York. They brought a bunch of Payless shoes. Brought a whole bunch of Payless shoes and just set up a store. They made the store look fucking phenomenal. You know, had it set up. It was all white, nice little glass cases and shit. And they was just going around asking people how much they thought those shoes cost. And they was talking about hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, all because of the setup of the store that it was in. And then came out at the end and pretty much told them all of these is Payless shoes. They work all less than $100 or something like that, man. You know?
Yeah, that's the consumers. Now, when you're talking about business, because that's what I wanted to get into, because they doing the $800 billion. Let's get into the education one. I wanted to say something real quick.
Says in the U.S., total spending on education, including all levels from elementary to post-secondary, both public and private, is estimated to be around $1.84 trillion in 2024, according to Cato Institute.
How much?
1.84 trillion.
Now, what was the?
Damn.
Is trillion more than billions?
That's
Come on now. Is
shit, how much?
trillion more than billion?
That's $1 trillion more.
Think about it. Is trillion more than billions? And all you gotta do is follow the money. The education system
Too many dummies.
is the main route to what a lot of their system is that's to program you to be a dumbass.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of money in education. Why? You need books. But again, that's why I say it's not consumers. It's about the business in itself. I could create a book that's worth $5 to make on market, just like Jordans. And I sell them at, it's like how you do with Jordans, right? That's like Jordan make the shoe in China, it takes $5 to make, but then you send it to the US and Foot Locker buys it at $75, and then they then have to, they sell it for $100 and something to make their money. Because they always do what? I think like 10 times the value or something like that. But this is how the education system is. They create the shoe. They then, anybody that's trying to sell the shoe has to buy it at $500 a shoe. You know what I'm saying? And, okay, damn, you hit me over the head. No, don't trip. Just go to the government, and they'll give you the grant to buy these shoes at this price. And in order for you to then make money, you got to bump it up. So you're going to make it $600. That's why when you go to college, fucking books be $500. Be $5 books.
Yeah.
But they market it up so much, and there's no way you can get that book unless you go through their department. You know what I'm saying? And then when you go there, they market it up. But like the schools ain't getting hit over the head. It's our taxes that's getting hit. Right? But them books don't cost that amount of money. So who's getting that money?
Yeah.
When you market that book up because you're trying to launder that money back to yourself, that book only costs $5 to make. In all reality, it only costs $5 to make, and you're charging $500. So you make it $495 plus tax off of a single book, and kids are going to school every day. And then I'm gonna say this. This is another thing. School milk. We all know about school milk now. We be looking at that school milk. That shit probably to us probably like about 50 cents. even if we buy it out the store ourselves, it probably be like 75 cents. But if a school buy it, it probably be $5 per carton.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they hike the price up so they can launder the money back to themselves. So that's why the education system budget is so big, because it's a big ass money laundering system. You know what I'm saying? So where you overprice stuff, you got teachers, they're underpaid. Like the public school system is paid mainly from government taxes.
And then
You know,
on top of like, because I remember if you do financial aid and you don't use all the money, they send you the money back every quarter or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't buy none of the books, you ain't get certain equipment that you know thought you would need it or whatever. So even if there is 100 students that get money back, that doesn't equate.
You're going to spend it back to them. You're going to give it right back to them. But in order to get that money, you need a government grant. That's your tax money you playing with anyway. That's your money anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm gonna hit y'all off so y'all can love this system. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing but give me the money back anyway. You don't go and buy some dumb shit, or you don't go and buy these books that cost a hell of a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna hit you over the head. Okay?
I want to get this precept.
You go ahead. Bible show.
This is Leviticus 19:9. It says, and when you reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field, neither shalt thou gather the gleanings of thy harvest. And thou shalt not glean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger. I am Yahweh your power.
Because it's supposed to be fairness, man. There's people that's high up and there's people that's low. And the rich say nowadays, if I share, the money's just going to end up back in my hands anyway. Well, why don't you fucking share it?
Yeah, at least people will
if
be
you're gonna get, if it come
Israel.
back like a boomerang, why not slack it? It just, why not share it then?
Right.
If you say, well, if I do that, it's just gonna end up back in my hands. Well, why are you tripping about it then? If you know if I take my billions and I throw it out and it's all gonna come back to me, but it's still gonna flow through everybody and give them some type of surge of energy. Now I'm just not gonna give y'all nothing because it's gonna come back to me anyway. Well, that's even more reason to give it.
Yeah, exactly.
But they speak wickedly concerning oppression, man, and poverty.
And they do it, like you said, they'll keep it within the business form, so to speak. Like, I remember with all of them bailouts and shit, they was giving the money to the banks, and what was the banks going to do? The banks was going to loan it out to the people, and now the people stay in debt. Now they got to work, and then they still paying that debt and debt. You know what I'm saying? So
it's creating a consumer cycle, man. And that bailout hikes the prices up. So now the people that got the loan got to work harder to pay off the hike on the percentage of the loan, and the prices of things are higher now, so that their money don't stretch as far. All right, it's all a game of mass producers need mass consumers. All right, and we ain't talking about, you know, Walmart's an industry, man. We're talking about people. We're talking about Chiquita bananas. Okay, we're talking about the Chiquita pineapples. We're talking about these people that needs mass consumers, nigga. I didn't annex Hawaii to make these year-round bananas and pineapples. I gotta get them off. Well, we Hebrew Israelites reading the scriptures. What? Israel means the sons of the Prince of God. Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Right. But slack it. What I was saying?
So much Chiquita bananas.
Yeah, the Chiquita bananas, avocados. It's far beyond Walmart, man. It's owning the avocado, man. All right? Owning the ability of shipping in oil. It's not about the Shell's gas station. It's about owning crude oil. Okay?
that's exactly how. Well, no, I guess I was gonna say that's how the U.S. they was asking China to persuade Iran not to close the Strait of Hormuz, but you said it's about owning the oil opposed to, more so shipping it.
Well, that's a part of it. That's affecting major businesses. You know what I'm saying? They're not saying open it up so we can keep on having our holidays, shit like that. That's consumer based. They're saying, nigga, we need to, like, I can't, because the thing is, that Strait of Hormuz, if that's not like, that's the only way you can get oil to America. It's just the cheapest way. Right? Because you gotta take oil, you gotta go all the way around fucking Africa. They had that struggle years ago, hundreds of years ago. They overcame it with the Strait of Hormuz and then the Strait of Hamas. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the strait that's in Gaza, Gaza Strip, the Panama Canal. These are ways to cut prices because it's not like it's a business. These niggas is going around that country. That's like me. If it takes $40 to fill my tank up, and then what I'm doing to drive around costs $40 for one trip, and it's like, damn, if I could cut this trip by a fraction, then it's to save me with gas, and I don't have to. It's like Ubering, and your car is a gas guzzler. It just doesn't make any sense. You're not gonna make enough money. So then you get an electric vehicle, and it's like, oh, I can do this all day. So that's like the concept of the Panama Canal, the Strait of Hormuz, all right, the Persian Gulf, and that strait that's in Gaza, man. All right, what you think they were so-called going to India for? To find the quickest way. You know what I'm saying? And when you go through your American history, the Portuguese was the ones that found out how to do it, and they found out how to do it from Jake in West Africa, man. Okay? Because they couldn't get down. What happened is they couldn't get down the lower part of South Africa by coming up from Europe because of the waters were so troubled. They told their ass, y'all got these big ass boats, y'all need some smaller boats. Smaller triangular sails, and that helped them get down there. And then when they got down there, then they was able to get down to the resources faster. It's not like they didn't know who the fuck Egypt was. Nebuchadnezzar knew who Egypt was. All right, it's just the fact that I gotta travel from Mesopotamia all the way down there, bro, and it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get these goods, but when I leave, nigga, you can act up, and it'll take me a month to straighten you out. You know what I'm saying? So I might as well make a trade deal with you, the King's Highway. You know what I'm saying? And i.e. taking a boat and just swinging down. You can get down to Egypt probably in a week, where it takes you about 3 months by land. You know? Not only the cost of goods, but the length. Like, we're talking about staying in the country. Imagine it takes you a month to get groceries. Oh, yeah. You know? And that's the only grocery store. And they know it. They're going to hike them prices up on your ass, man. What you going to do? What you going to do about it? Huh? Where else you going to get it from? I'm the only nigga here for miles.
You need me, nigga.
Yeah. Right? So that's just how it is, man. And people don't understand that part of government fighting.
I'm about to say, then they call that business.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. And it's all capitalism, all consumption. It's all based off of resources. And people think because they could get Snickers and they could travel to Dubai and get shitted on and watch, UFC fights and go to clubs and this rapper is still rapping and he's still dropping and he's still got his chain, and everything is just fucking normal. No, that's the propaganda programming that you're in. It's the movie still gotta play. Fuck you think they're gonna be having a movie to distract you, and then everybody's outside fighting? Look at Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
I thought the same shit, bro.
Hulkamaniac. That nigga.
Baby Hulkamaniac.
Yeah, that nigga made my thing, little Hulkamaniac, man.
Like a little Hulkamaniac.
But yeah. So it's a whole system that's in place, and that's why I talk to the brothers a lot about like this programming system, the right and the wrong. That all this is just meant for you to always go to the government for help. The way the nigga woman operates is exactly how they want us to be.
That video you sent me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's why I was saying in the cut, like, that's exactly, they want us to. That is that is the base form of how they want us to be.
That was sickening, bro.
You know?
Little dude want to go get a job. She like, no, because you going to mess up what I got going.
Yeah.
I'm like.
And that's what people do when you want to invent something. When we're up in here telling you, you know, you're an Israelite, well, no, you're going to mess up what I got going.
Yep.
It's the same. It's just, like I said, that spirit exists on every level. That's just the most barbaric, plainest way to see how everybody is through the nigger woman, because she's the most susceptible. Okay, so she's going to dive all the way into Esau's mentality, man. She's very sensual. Okay, and Esau plays and tempts the sensuality of a man. All right, and women go off of what? Feelings. All right, happiness. All right, constantly trying to come up. You know, they create a system like divorce. It's all about you trying to hurt somebody. You know what I'm saying? Taking all this, taking all that, but there's no system to encourage marriage. You know, but that's a different subject. But the point is that the nature of the end of, if you want to know about American programming, that's the nature, man. Okay. Oh, my son's hurt. Run to the hospital. Fuck a natural remedy.
Yeah.
You know. I gotta work. Send your kid to daycare. You know what I'm saying? Put your kid around any kind of nigga and shit. You know? You can't operate without Esau. I.e., you believe everything he say.
Yeah.
You want to look and be like him. That's the base form. There's a lot of niggas out here walking with straight hair weave on spiritually, man. Blind wigs on. Niggas is doing it. Physically.
Yeah. Right.
Putting blonde heads and shit.
Yep.
You know?
Yes, sir.
Thinking like him. The image of the beast, man. The Eve is a living image of the image of the beast. Believe anything he say or zip it. You know, they said this on the news. It's gotta be true. They said it. Don't believe your man for shit. You know? All because of what? Programming. I remember I was talking to Jake one time. I'll let you get that too, brother. I was talking to Jake one time that and I was telling him about going out of space. Was arguing. It's like, man, I was watching this one thing and this shit had me geeking out, and it was like they had the fucking comet and the planet. I'm like, bro, just because they did all that don't make it fucking real. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, CGI, come on, bro. Like that's the wonder, making wonders. They wonder at the signs, at these images and things that get you going. That's what it's talking about. All right. When you're fickle. Okay. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion.
Yeah, and they did that through programming. That's why they were telling women you could be everything you could be. Telling you that you could go, if you go to school, you could be this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Not telling your ass, it ain't no different from the fucking NFL. You know what I'm saying? You still got to get selected. You know? Right. And they only going to select people who qualify. Just more people get selected, the lower you go on the totem pole. All right? Everybody going to get selected at McDonald's. All right? But you got to have a GED. You know?
Yeah. This is the etymology of program. It says public notice, proclamation, edict, a written public notice. You know what I'm saying? Which at the end of the day is everything that they're putting out there. This is the way that like the Lord said, this is the way, walk ye in it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how Esau treats people. Hey, this is the way, walk this way. This is how we do things around here. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it this way, all right? Because I was sitting there thinking, and like periodically it comes up, Lord willing, I start writing them down. And you start, I mean, we all know it. You know, Esau ain't doing nothing but trying to be like the Most High, okay? Everything the Most High did and created. He's just doing his way of doing it. That's why the scriptures speak about the people serve the creature more than the creator. All right? So they often want to be like Esau, want to be like the so-called white man, because as we were speaking about a couple weeks back, allegedly their way is civilized, man. You know?
Yeah, their way. But the thing is that they know the system. They know the system, and they created like MK Ultra and historically. We always go into Maccabees. Since we departed, our life has been much evil. So they say, you know what, let me just go and serve this dude, man. All right, fuck it. I got it. Whatever you say, bro. Whatever you say. Because again, you tell your woman to do something. Oh man, you feel like you're being oppressive, you're being controlling, but Esau telling them to do it.
Yeah.
They're programmed. They don't know how to answer that question. Why is that you can listen to the so-called white man, but when I tell you something, it's a struggle. Well, he don't talk to me like that. I'm like, but he hungry. He put you in slavery. Right. The fuck? I ain't never do that to you historically. You know, y'all say niggas beat on women. These niggas have raped, robbed, and murdered you. And you believe what they say. You know what I'm saying? All this women's liberation and niggas ain't this and this. I'd rather be in a chorus for the line, but you in the government office when there was a slave master at a point.
You got the train, not me. It's but no, what brother speaking on remind me. I think it was a video that one of y'all brothers sent through where the dude was out there on the street interviewing a nigga woman, and was asking pretty much would you listen to your man if he had better advice on fitness and this, that, and the third. And she said no, unless you're paying me. And that's the same, like you were saying, that's that power. The Esau made you believe that power equals knowledge.
Yeah, they're the most diluted version. You know, like that shit don't even make sense to say if I'm a health guru, like I'm a failed NFL player, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't reach my master. I'm in hella shape, and so I'm making probably like I'm working at Planet Fitness. So I probably got me a little degree, making 60 something, and I'm in dumbass shape. More than the average human being. I damn near made it. I was a D1 player. I just didn't make it in the NFL. Now I'm working a regular job, and you telling me I don't know shit about how to get healthy. You're fat and out of shape. You know? I'm gonna tell you, that's dumb. When you really break it down, that's dumb as hell. Because in order to be rich, you gotta invent something as a poor person. You gotta sell it to people when you get rich to get rich. How the fuck? If I am a health instructor, the only way I can get rich as a health instructor is by selling my product. Dumbass. I never listen to you unless you have money out the gate. Then Mike Zuckerberg couldn't sell Microsoft. I mean, Bill Gates couldn't sell Microsoft. Mike Zuckerberg, whoever, what's that the nigga, the Amazon nigga? That's Facebook. Amazon nigga, Elon Musk. Oh, you broke, bro. Why am I listening to your ideas? No, niggas listen to scientists. Don't come out with money. None of them have money. No scientist sat in no lab and was like, "Oh, this nigga gotta be rich." That was never the case.
They get money after they make a breakthrough.
So why is that a stand? Yeah, why is that a standard of listening then? Exactly. If you don't have money, I'm not gonna listen to whatever your expertise is. You ain't got no money, I'm gonna listen to whatever your expertise is. That's not supposed to work like that. That's dumb. Unless your expertise is money, then that makes sense. If you ain't got no money, I'm gonna listen to you. You ain't got no money. But if you talking about how to exercise and your ass is, look, you got a lot of failed boxers that know that make champions, man. Okay, a lot of failed coaches and failed boxers. You know, Derrick James. I ain't gonna say like he was just horrible, but you don't like look up Derrick James and say, God damn, that nigga was a fucking bad motherfucker. Okay? But he created champions. Right? But that's just a nigga woman's thinking, man. If you don't go to Esau, i.e. getting money, because Esau created this dollar system and that again people associate dollars with intelligence. Let's get that in Sirach. When a rich man speaketh, they hold their tongue. All right, but that's a consumer's again, that's the programming of Esau to make you think that if you're not doing good in his system, then you ain't worth nothing. Here it is, you can be healthy as hell, but if he didn't say that you're, because he could choose whoever he wants to be rich. You know, like Sexy Red is rich, bro.
And there's hella sexy reds.
Like that is not talent. You know? Like Prince is talent. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson is talent. They got a nigga that's that's from Houston that be rapping and playing the piano at the same time. That's talent.
That's talent.
Okay? The reason why there's no talent, having no talent is a new talent, as Murder Mook said, man. Just showing your ass doing it because they want you to have a degenerate mindset.
Yeah.
They're gonna pay you to get likes, so they're gonna keep you degenerate.
They want to dumb you down, you know, because naturally Yasha Allah is too loud. You know what I'm saying? They can't do what we do, so hey, why don't we just pay a bunch of dumb fucks to do basic shit so everybody can be at the same basic?
Because you gotta pay talent. You gotta pay talent.
Yep.
And I ain't talking about like, I'm talking about hard working talent. You had to pay Mike. Yeah. You gotta pay Prince. You gotta pay LeBron. You have to pay certain niggas.
Right.
And this is a secret. All of us are capable to do this.
Right.
They just pick one nigga, Kevin Hart. There's a lot of funny niggas out there.
Mm-hmm.
But they're gonna make sure they always have one nigga. And they're gonna give him everything. So they can control niggas. And when they get that one nigga, they're gonna have him BLM. Oh, I'm running out. Go vote. Do this, do that. They're controlling your ass to keep everybody dumb. Go get an education. You know what I'm saying? All you need in America, if you look at the history of America, the American dream was being a creator and starting your own shit from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? That was the core of the American way. It was figuring out and getting it on your own. Not going to the government for everything that you need. I.e. money and how to eat and feed yourself. Niggas was getting mad at central banks. You know what I'm saying? Can we get an article showing that how, I think it was Thomas Jefferson, bitch ass, was the president that got rid of the central bank. All right? Like put it the America's response to the first central bank. Because I think it was I think George Washington or somebody started one, and Thomas Jefferson got rid of that shit, and then another president came and sold their ass out, and then just got the whole foundation established. Okay.
To the first central bank?
Yeah. What is it? I know it's Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson got rid of paid off the debt. Andrew Jackson. Okay, yeah.
It says President Andrew Jackson is the president who is most associated with dismantling the first central bank in the United States. He strongly opposed the second bank of the United States, viewing it as a tool of the wealthy elite and a threat to individual liberty.
There you go. And the central bank won at the end. So you lost the individual liberty of creating your own company. You out here, you making shoes. How you see on the shows, you got the nigga, the little hat, suspenders. He's wiping his head and shit, and he got his little, you know what I'm saying? Because niggas got the shit off the sweat of their brow. Not off of you getting a machine to and it's taking us 100 people's ideas and jobs you're taking away. When you go into the book of the 4 quadrants, you know what I'm saying? By this Moabite, he wrote this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the 4 quadrants to tell you got a man that walks and he grabs a bucket. There's a water pond, and he's willing to grab the bucket and walk to town, and he's getting $5 a bucket. But then you got a nigga that'll create a machine and pump gallons and gallons of water, but he's only getting 5 cents a bucket. And this guy's making more money than the guy that's walking. But that machine just took a lot of people's opportunities away, because you know how many people would have had to walk to produce that amount of water, and how many people that are employed, but you only concentrated it to about 5 or 10 people. All right, that's just saying where we work at. We had to like individually squeeze every udder. You got to hire a whole lot more people, man.
Yeah.
You got to take care of a whole lot more people. But that's why you're not supposed to do all that shit to have that much mass production because everybody ain't meant to be pumping out that much. You supposed to have a nigga with a bunch of cows over here that could, like they had the milkman. You need a lot of milkmen.
Yeah.
You need a lot of milkmen. A lot of milkmen to produce milk for everybody. Because one nigga ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So and they just through mass production, you need mass consumers. And now that they got a hold of mass production in its entirety by having control of all the resources, and now that they got everybody caught up in being mass consumers, now I'm gonna force everybody to consume what I'm giving them. All right, I got a hold of everything, so now I know how to make cockroach fruit bars. You know.
Like it hurt him with the stomach.
Or you know, granola. You might well be eating that shit with the high processed shit that they be feeding us and shit, man, fucking us up, man. All right, GMO this and GMO that. They got control of every fucking thing. You know, so everything they got everything, and now they got control of everything. Now they're gonna make everybody. They don't have to make mass consumers anymore. They're just gonna force you to consume what they want you to do because they didn't rose to the cream of the crop, and they got all they won. They got everything on the board of monopoly, and now they're about to say, you know what?
Roll the dice.
Yeah, roll the dice. Land on boardwalk. Everything boardwalk. Everything boardwalk. Roll the dice, nigga. Hey, you gonna do that for all you? Shut up. I ain't gonna ask you. Roll the damn dice. If you want to live, roll the dice.
Oh, so you want to be smart today, huh?
Yeah. That's what they're trying to head us to, man. But the Lord is gonna interrupt that, man, because the way of the Lord is peace. Okay? It says when the righteous rule, the nation, the people rejoice.
Yeah.
All right? And the people are gonna rejoice because we're not gonna be micromanaging you. There's rules. There's fucking rules. You can't be out here eating pork. You can't be committing adultery. You can't be a part of alphabet community. You can't. There's laws and statutes in the Bible that you keep. Yeah. And it's all like committing adultery is to not commit adultery is peaceful. All right. To not lend upon usury is peaceful. Okay. Not like how these U-rats, these JOOs, because the scriptures tell you that an Israelite can lend upon usury to a heathen, but the way they do it is just ridiculous, man. All right. Yeah. They purposely. I can lend upon. I'm gonna create a system to fuck them over. Yep. They nigger rig usury, man.
That stranger could just be like, well, all right, I ain't gonna deal with you then. I go somewhere else. I'll grow my own or whatever. But no, like you said, they created a system to where you have to come this way. Oh, if you have to go that way and that way, but guess what? It all comes back to me.
They'll sit there and research how much money you make a month, and then charge you, say it takes you 1 shilling a month, right? They'll go and say, okay, it takes you to make 1 shilling a month. I'm gonna sell this bread to you for 1 shilling, and I'm not gonna sell it to you for 1 shilling and a shilling and a half when we through. What I'm gonna do, because I can tax you, and you just pay the 1 shilling and a half. What I'm gonna charge you 1 shilling, and then every day that you don't pay, every week that you don't pay, I'm gonna tax you. Yep. And I'm gonna tax you for the total amount of that shilling. I'm gonna tax you 10%. So now, if you don't pay it off, and if you're not super responsible, then you owe the nigga 5 shillings. And then he ain't even had a shilling. He just knew his partner that let him do it for free, and he ain't even had no fucking money. You know what I'm saying? This is the type of games they play. All right, the fiat notes. All right, and we could go on and on about this shit, man. But these are the wiles of the devil. Now people are just frolicking around and enjoying captivity and capitalism and democracy in the image of the beast. Okay? That's why you can't see the end of this place, man. All right? Because of fucking food stamps, Section 8, video games, liquor, Jordans, spectacles, bread and circuses. You know what I'm saying? You can't see past shit. Because you stuck in the beast system, man. High heels, Balenciagas and shit. Niggas out here wearing space boots. Like $500, $1,000. At what point did we need something that expensive? For what? In all actuality, human living, why would you need shoes that is not worth that quality and to spend that much money on?
Yeah.
Because it's a statement to say if I'm willing to spend this much money on it, I'm important.
Yep.
That's
Right.
what America tells you.
Exactly.
Not how smart you operate.
I say because they don't even make the quality of shoes how they used to make the quality of shoes. I bought a pair of shoes and I'm like, dang. I was on the phone with somebody. I'm like, hey, is this supposed to look? That's just how they make them now.
Well, they shouldn't. Yeah, like they out the gate. Like you seen little glue and shit handed over. I'm like, hey, I had to accept, bro. Only shoes that they still make with quality is cowboy boots, man. Leather, real leather, regular leather shoe. If you can't fuck that shoe up and you gotta go to a nigga so he can fix it, that shoe ain't worth shit, man. Because the niggas used to go to shoe stores and niggas used to get your shit back right, sew some shit back together. You know, if you can't repair them, you know, like they told Jake you need a new coat every winter. You know, damn new coat, your old coat works just fine. It keeps you warm. Why? Because it's all limp looking and flat looking. Niggas don't know how to open nothing up and stuff new cotton in it. No, none of that. You know? When we was young, we had to do, man, Jake used to toothbrush. You know what I'm saying? On their shoes, all kind of shit. Now Jake get a scuff, throw them away.
Oh, this get some new ones.
Remember the white shit used to hit them holes with?
Yeah, bro.
Jake don't use that no more.
Shoe polish.
You put white out on your?
Yeah.
It came with the
It
shoes.
was like a shoe store.
Oh,
It was like a little white paint you hit the shoe with, and you could buff your shit.
that's fine.
You know what I'm saying?
Put a little layer.
Because Jake, it just got worse and worse and worse. Where you just, nigga, you stuff your shit up there because you got rappers. Watching a video of a little baby leaving an Airbnb, just Air Force Ones all over the place. You know? They be doing that on purpose. The Dame Dash. I never wore the same pair of socks since I was rapping and shit. Like, shut the fuck up. Why?
Yeah.
Why not? Why are you living like that?
Rock mines to that bitch, didn't she?
Yeah. Like, why not? What are you doing?
Yeah. Exactly. Why?
But
Like-
then look at a nigga and like, I can't, if I feed you, I'm gonna be broke.
Right.
It's the American nature of just being selfish, like it ain't enough for everybody. Niggas, yeah.
Y'all seen that Balenciaga barefoot shoe they got for $500? It's just speaking of this shit right here. A barefoot shoe is nothing but just like a clip that go on your foot almost, man. But that's like y'all brothers were saying, that's
Buying
just
them aqua boogies.
You know? And that's what it is. The people don't see him like, all right, this shit is dumb. Let's just cut it out. I'm doing too much.
all right.
No, you have one person to get it, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they sold out and shit.
Like to buy bubble gum is too much. That's redundant. The fuck you buying bubble gum for? Something you can chew on and just spit out.
Yeah, that shit gone in 2 minutes.
Like the actual use of it, to spend money on something that you just chew on it for flavor and spit it out. That's for entertainment purposes only. It don't feed you, it don't put nutrients in your body. Imagine a caveman like selling his whole family. No, like you wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like certain shit that you use on a regular, and Jake is like you gotta have gum in certain demographics. Different gums. Yeah, you need some gum. You know, you don't need no fucking gum. You know, like you gotta wear socks. You can't get a job and shit, or people look down on you. Like you gotta have utensils. You gotta have a bow tie. This place creates a standard of you consuming, man. Yeah. Black families, nigga, you start getting skinny. Oh, you good, baby? You sick? It's like, nigga, no. Nigga, I'm eating healthy.
Yeah, I'm eating clean.
What the fuck I ain't sick, nigga? Talking about.
You still want that rich man?
No, it's not bad. That's pretty much it, you know. Goes out. With that being said, we'll give all praises
Unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Chakadash.
Rabbi
silence our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth sincerity.
Shalom.
Now we was talking about the nigga roll the dice.